Did Reunion actually make it? Was this sequel better than Double Exposure? What do I personally think about it? Did it answer all the unanswered questions from the previous game? Stay around to find out. Okay, so in my previous video, I talked about the reveal show of Life is Strange Reunion. I analyzed what we could see in this show and whether there were any important details that could tell us anything about this game. I also talked about what Hannah and Rihanna told us that we should look forward to. Since then, there was no new video from me, but 2 weeks ago, the game was finally released, and after my first playthrough, it's time to talk about what I personally think of this game. I will try to keep this video as spoiler-free as possible, but be aware that at least some spoilers will still be there. Before I start, I would like to mention that I decided to upload my whole first walkthrough on YouTube. There is a separate playlist for all these videos. I will attach its link down in the video description. If you're not planning to play Life is Strange Reunion, but you still want to know its story, I recommend you to watch them. That should make sure that my next analysis videos won't contain any spoilers for you anymore. With that being said, let's move to today's topic. If we look at Steam reviews, sadly, Double Exposure didn't do as well as Deck 9 hoped it would. A lot of fans didn't like the complicated story, technical state of the game, and a certain part of Life is Strange community really hated not including Chloe. Did Reunion do better? Let me talk about it. As I mentioned, the story in Double Exposure was really complicated. It left us with even more unanswered questions that we started playing it with. I personally remember finishing the game and being like, okay, what the hell just happened? How? And why? I think I needed 3 playthroughs to finally start understanding some things, and that probably wasn't something that fans wanted, even though I have to admit that theorizing about it was quite fun. Was Reunion's story better? Well, on one side, sadly no. But on the other side, hella yes, as Chloe would say. Let me explain. After finishing the game once, there are a lot of things that I don't quite understand yet. This time, it was partially because of my choices. I just couldn't get those answers anymore. It's still possible that I will get them and understand everything a lot better after finishing it a few more times. The game itself still leaves us with some unanswered questions after the ending though, but I think that this time there weren't as many as after finishing Double Exposure. This leads me to the part that I've been mentioning for quite some time in my previous videos. Did Reunion actually give us the answers which we wanted so badly after Double Exposure? Unfortunately, no. For example, we still don't know what happened to Detective Alderman. I don't remember seeing any mention of him in Reunion. Not even in any newspaper or anything. Maybe I just didn't look for it enough, so if anyone found anything, please let us know in the comment section. As I mentioned, I believe that he is probably alive after merging timelines because of not being near Caledon in the living world. But nothing was even hinted here. Next thing, we still don't know what are Diamond's powers. In the whole game, there's only one phone conversation with Diamond, and that's it. About the Polaroids being from the original timeline, that wasn't confirmed yet either. But to be honest, after trying to explain this in my separate video, I think that this is probably true. We at least got some hints about the Overlook situation, but that's for a separate video. Especially when I still need to understand it better. What I can tell is that Moses mentioned something about it to Chloe, and it was complicated, unsurprisingly. I would probably stop there to keep it as spoiler-free as possible. And is there anything which looks like an obvious lazy writing? Well, let's just say that when I mentioned the Abraxas basement scene in my previous video, and I was curious why Loretta seemed so surprised how Max stopped the detonation. Well, they gave some sort of answer. But to be honest, during my first gameplay, when I streamed it to my friends, after hearing this explanation, I had to pause game, and for about 2 minutes, I was like, are they actually serious? Couldn't they come up with something better? Did they give this any thought at all? It was really frustrating. Well, at least they used it to develop the plot further. I will explain this more in one of my next videos, but if you'll watch the first part of my walkthrough, you will surely understand what I'm talking about. Well, that all sounds pretty bad, right? Don't worry, we're getting to the better part. This time, a certain part of community doesn't need to be aggressive about Chloe's absence and threaten Deck 9 with boycotting this game, because as we all know, Chloe is truly back. And it's not just as some side character, she is fully playable, and even her backtalk ability is back. I found only 3 situations where you can actually use it, but that didn't bother me as much. I was never that good in winning them in Before the Storm, so at least it didn't feel forced here. And when I'm talking about Chloe, oh my goodness, her character is written so well. She really feels like Chloe from Life is Strange 1, but 10 or 11 years older and more mature. She can still be like a wild card and do or say something that would teenager Chloe do, which can lead to some situations that made me laugh so hard. But she can now better understand when she needs to be more serious and is more aware of the consequences of her actions. She also understands that Max has her own life now and that she at least partially moved on, whether you chose Bay or Bay option. In my opinion, Chloe is one of the best written characters in this game, if not even the best. Playing as Max feels great once again. She's now professor in Caledon University and has her own photography class. Her rewind power works well, and it felt so good that after making some major choice, I could just rewind, try the other one instead, and then decide for myself which choice feels better to me. It's true that with Chloe you felt more responsibility with all major choices because she has no rewind, but I personally enjoyed this Life is Strange 1 model more. The nice touch was that after some conversations, when you discovered an important information with somebody, you could just rewind them and make sure they won't get that information again after you already know it now. It's possible that it will prevent these characters from getting them in danger, but to confirm that, I need to replay the game again. Max's powers are also growing. For example, we already know that she travels back by a Polaroid, and this time it doesn't pull her back. We could see some hint of this in Moses' Time Dojo in the reveal show, which I analyzed in my previous video. We also get to use one more Max's new power in the late game, but I don't want to spoil that here. And I personally think that we got to see at least some sort of variation of my beloved power from comic books. But again, that's for some other video. And speaking of the comic books, sadly, no, there are no characters from comics. I hoped for seeing at least some of them, but they weren't included in this game. In other review, I heard a complaint that Max cannot travel between timelines. But, I mean, that is precisely the point after the 2 timelines were merged, that Max cannot travel to another timeline anymore. So this complaint seems pretty pointless to me. Now, let's talk about side characters. Moses is the most important of them. He's some sort of guide for Max and Chloe. He has his time dojo, which serves as a tutorial for Max's rewind power in the early game, and it works pretty well. We can learn how to control rewind, and we also get a recap of which powers are safe or potentially dangerous. He also tries to figure out and explain to Chloe what is happening to her, and if you're lucky enough, Chloe and Moses can even become friends. You can also discuss your clues about the fire together and try to figure out suspects. Next up is Safi. Many of you will be glad to hear that her Avengers plan was cancelled. I wanted to see people with powers from other games, but I don't mind that they chose a different path in the end. Safi is secretive and has her own motives, but in my opinion, with her, your choices in this game will actually matter a lot. And her one specific interaction with Chloe, oh my god. When I will upload that short video, you will surely know what I mean. But it was hilarious. I really like Loretta in this game. She finally doesn't feel like that annoying little shit anymore. She can share valuable info with you, and she's actually very important to the story. Then there are also other returning characters from Double Exposure, like Reggie, Vin, Lucas, Yasmin, or Amanda. They can give you some valuable info as well, but here their appearance, comparing to Double Exposure, is either smaller or not so much important at all, which I think was a shame, especially in Amanda's case. I think that Chloe had more conversations with her in Reunion than Max did, which made me a little sad, because I personally chose romanced Amanda option on the game start. At least she's still herself, and we can have some funny dialogues with her.
Hey lady, can I get a drink here or what?
This lady will kick your dick in, so back off! Stressed.
There are also some new people, which I don't want to talk about so much, because of the spoilers. They will be probably mentioned more in my next videos. And also, Abraxas is finally important to the story. They are not just some secret group of students, which seemed useless, and they have their strong impact on the plot. The story is, in my opinion, a lot better than in Double Exposure. In there, you knew about Max being the one who shot Safi since the end of chapter 2, and after the third chapter, it became more chaotic and it felt too rushed. This time, it's more mysterious and you can't tell for sure who's behind the fire until near the endgame. The game itself seems shorter than Double Exposure, but the story here doesn't feel so rushed as did chapters 4 and 5 in the previous game. And the ending? Oh my god. I could barely breathe from the tension, wondering how it would all end. Knowing that my choices would decide who will survive the inferno. Well, I felt a lot of responsibility. In my next playthrough, I am very curious whether I can reach better results. I will at least try my best. I would also like to talk about the technical state of the game. You know that in Double Exposure I found a few glitches myself, and it's not a secret that they haven't been fixed yet. To be honest, I feel like they've already given up on Double Exposure, which is a shame, because that game deserved some additional bug fixing to at least slightly improve its overall experience. If anyone from Square Enix is watching this video by any chance, I just want to remind you that videos with these glitches, which I reported to you, are still accessible on my channel by the links I sent you. And I know that you haven't seen them yet. YouTube statistics are really helpful here. Okay, so did Reunion learn from its predecessor's mistakes, and was it released in really good state? I really hate to tell you all that once again, no. Let me make one thing clear. I never had any game-breaking issue that would crash my game. I could play the game from beginning to end without getting stuck by some glitch. However, visually? Well, as a developer, I can understand that bugs and glitches appear every time. You just can't avoid it. But repeating the same mistakes again? Well, that's obviously not sending a good signal to players. I just couldn't help noticing slower loading of high-resolution textures in some scenes. Sometimes it's barely noticeable, but in some scenes, when it's happening constantly, it gets really, really annoying. This happened a lot of times in Double Exposure as well, but to be honest, I didn't notice it that much there. I think that in Reunion, it happens more often, Another thing that didn't look good was that sometimes when Max was holding an object, it would move with a lower frame rate than Max did. And the mostly noticeable graphic glitch was during this certain scene that took place at night. The lighting there has gone totally crazy. It was night in the game, but I had a feeling that sun is shining right into my face. I tried to restart from the latest checkpoint, but it didn't help, so I had to lower the brightness to minimum just to be able to play it. When I reached the next checkpoint, I tried to exit to the main menu and then loading my save file, and it finally worked well again. And don't even get me started with facial expressions. In double exposure, this was something that I totally loved because they absolutely nailed it. But here, well, just to clarify, main characters obviously did mocap with facial expression as well, and they still look great. But when I look at some of the new characters, let's just say that this might just haunt me in my nightmares. These facial expressions simply look terrible. I just hope that developers will fix these glitches and improve the overall experience in the upcoming patches. Otherwise, Reunion might have a serious problem. Well, at least I didn't get any typos. Yet. And what about soundtrack? Usually, this is one of the best parts of every Life is Strange game. And this one is not an exception. The soundtrack is beautiful, and it really matches the atmosphere of this game. Deck 9 decided to place their trust in proven artists such as Tessa Rose Jackson and FFM, along with several others who also worked on the soundtrack for Double Exposure. Alongside them, a number of returning artists from previous games are featured as well, such as Falls and Daughter. Maybe I didn't feel like these songs are as memorable as in previous entries, but they are still amazing. The soundtrack will make you feel cozy and comfortable when it's time to just relax and enjoy the moment. And it will also build a lot of tension when things might just get out of hands. So, what is my final verdict of this game? Did Deck 9 give us a masterpiece? In my opinion, if it's not a masterpiece, it's still a great game. I truly enjoyed playing it. The story was interesting, and after my first playthrough, I still want to play it again to find even more information and motives of certain characters' actions. It was again a bit complicated, but as I said, with another replay, I might find more explanations. I liked many characters, especially the ones we already knew. The chemistry between Max and Chloe works wonderfully, and many times I was just sitting and smiling during their conversation because it gave me a lot of nostalgia of the first game. The story knows really well when we need to lighten up mood with some hilarious situation, or on other hand, when it needs to be dead serious. The soundtrack is beautiful. Hearing Spanish Sahara really brought me back to the lighthouse in Arcadia Bay. I have the main issue with the game's technical state because it still needs a lot of bug fixing. I really hope that they won't give up on this game the same way they did with Double Exposure, and with a few patches, even this aspect of Reunion will be great. And also, that one mentioned thing that feels like a total lazy writing. Yeah, that bothers me a lot. Do I recommend to play this game? Absolutely yes. I believe that you will really enjoy it as well, and it will bring you back a lot of great memories from previous games. And to back this up with some relevant data, just look at Steam reviews. It is so much better, so it seems that the community likes it a lot as well. So, if you played this game, what are your opinions about it? Do you agree with me? Or do you think something else? Or are you still just planning to play Life is Strange Reunion? Let me know down in the comments. I will look forward to all of them. If you liked this video, I would be really grateful if you could press that like button. Also, if you missed my previous video where I analyzed the Life is Strange Reunion's reveal show, you can go check it out. Also, if you missed my first video where I tried to explain some unanswered questions from Double Exposure, why not give it a chance as well? Thanks again for watching, and have a nice day.